only thing we have to fear is
in war,
fear itself.
there is no substitute for victory.
Let us never negotiate out of fear.
We stand undivided, forever united, fighting hand in hand for the liberty we've earned, for glory and honor, for our sons and daughters, ever mindful of the lessons we've learned. Let the torch of freedom burn.
Welcome to the intersection of faith and politics. We're thrilled to have you with us here at WallBuilders Live. You can find out more about us at wallbuilderslive.com and wallbuilders.com. I'm Rick Green here with Tim Barton. We're looking at things from both a biblical and a historical perspective, how to impact the culture out there. And Tim, of course, that intersection of faith and politics, culture is really what we're talking about. We're talking about all the different areas of culture, and media certainly a big, big part of that, one that Christians kind of stayed away from for a long time.
Well, and media is becoming even more and more prominent. It cracks me up as someone who is a younger man. I was a youth pastor for 10 years, and how much our kids are saturated by media, how much the next generation, everything they do is media. I was chuckling with my parents. Just in the last few days, my parents were showing me some things that they have now discovered on the iPad, as if this is, this brand new technology, and we're going, well, that's been out for several years, right? Like, it's not really brand new, but it's new to them because this is not the way it's always been. But for this next generation, this younger generation, this is all they've known, and so they grew up in a media saturated culture. And so, especially as we look at the significance of media, the value of what media can bring, and then also the detriment of things if we're not careful what we're putting in, it really is significant as we look at media, especially as we think about cultures. We think about the next generation and worldview and America and faith. Media is such a big part in what we talk about.
One of the things that you teach on is how to become more media savvy, how to recognize the good stuff and the bad stuff, and not get desensitized, because we kind of just get used to the type of media that over the last 20 years has dominated Hollywood.
Well, it's true. And there's a lot of guys that do some great teachings on it. We've had Sean McDowell on the program before, and he talks about how he has classes where they just watch movies in the class, and afterwards they dissect it, and he has to help people understand this is what we just saw. And most people have no idea what they're watching, because as we watch movies, we watch for entertainment value. We don't think about what the value system is that's being presented to us. We don't think about the worldview behind it. And I do have a presentation that I love to do for kids. I have another one that's similar that I do for adults. But ultimately for kids, I'll take some of the top Billboard songs, and I'll take some of the top TV shows of that era, whatever that year is, whatever the moment is, the season is, and then the most popular movies that are out, and we'll just look at them. And I'll go through and show some of these value systems that are being portrayed, because every movie, every TV show, every song is going to give you the value system they have on relationships, on identity, on sexuality, on honor, on integrity. And you go down the list, but most people don't think about that when media is saturating them. And so we have a younger generation that really exposes themselves to so many things unintentionally, but they are having their worldview shaped by something, not even realizing it's being shaped by it, because they're learning to accept, tolerate, and even embrace something that as a Christian, they ought to be measuring it with the Word of God and going, wait a second, what does the Bible say? And the same thing for parents. Half the time, parents have no idea what their kids are listening to, what they're watching, and knowing the agenda that is in so much of these TV shows and movies and media. And really, there's a challenge to parents that you got to know what your kids are into so you can help guide their thinking and help make sure they're thinking the right thoughts when it comes to relationships, when it comes to sexuality, when it comes to authority, when it comes to whatever the issue is that is covered in so much of this. And so media is such a big deal that often gets overlooked because of what it produces, what the influence is, and what the moral view is. But it is a really big deal.
It's interesting how the church for a long time just kind of avoided the topic and stayed away from it, and then it was everything in Hollywood's bad. And then in the last, I don't know, maybe 7, 8, 10 years, there's been an effort to have more influence in media. And, of course, we have Ted Baer all the time, and he's there constantly trying to influence what's happening in Hollywood and get better values taught, and has been doing that for years. And now there seems to be more and more Christian films, Christian television type things coming out, sort of an effort to give us better choices on that. Probably the largest gathering of the Christian broadcasters is National Religious Broadcasters Convention. I went out there a week or two ago, and man, Tim, I was encouraged. There was it seemed like a new concentrated effort to get good content out there. Christian businessmen are putting their money behind it. Really creative young people coming out with great stories and movies and television. And they even had for the first time a film symposium sort of thing as a part of NRB. It was really encouraging to see.
Well, and Rick, it's something as we look even across the nation, there's so much reason to be encouraged because you see more and more people waking up realizing that we have to be the salt and light in whatever the area, whatever the avenue is, whether it's athletics or whether it's in a medical field or whether it's in some academic area or even in media. And so it is so encouraging to see so many people that are Christians now taking their faith and saying, you know what, I want to use my faith in where God has gifted me and what I feel called to do and what I can do well. And now we're not only seeing faith more prevalent in media, we're seeing really good media with really positive faith, where it used to be kind of an embarrassment to take your friends were going to watch a Christian film and you really were kind of embarrassed at the moment watching it going, guys, I'm sorry I made you watch this. But now we have such great movies that really it's an incredible tool to bring friends and say, hey guys, come watch this because it's such a fun movie, a positive movie, an encouraging movie, great values, and really well done. Yeah,
very, very exciting. Got to screen the Kendrick brothers' new movie, War Room, while I was there at NRB. It's outstanding. It's going to come out this August. We'll get them on to talk about it at some point. But a couple of young producers that the Kendricks have been working with and that helped actually one of the writers on a new movie for them. And these two guys actually helped in the production of the Kendrick brothers' new movie. Chad and Aaron Burns, they've got a new movie coming out called Beyond the Mask. And it's sort of a first attempt, really, in the Christian sort of media circles to do an action-oriented film. And very excited to have Chad Burns with us to tell us about it and talk about that premiere that's going to happen on April 6th. Chad Burns will be with us when we return. Stay with us right here on WallBuilders Live.
This is David Barton with another moment from America's history. Revisions today often assert that our founding fathers were atheists or agnostics or deists. This charge is not new. In fact, Patrick Henry was even called a deist in his lifetime. Clearly, no one could question his patriotism, but Henry was hurt that they would question his Christianity. Against the charge that he was a deist, Patrick Henry thundered, "Deism, with me, is but another name for vice and depravity. I hear it is said by the deists that I am one of their number, and indeed that some good people think I am no Christian. This thought gives me much more pain than being called a traitor. Being a Christian is a character which I prize far above all this world has or can boast." Patrick Henry was quick to refute the charge of deism and to declare his open belief as a Christian.
For more information on God's hand in American history, contact WallBuilders at 1-800-8REBUILD.
Let the torch of freedom burn.
Welcome back to the intersection of faith and politics. Thanks for staying with us here on WallBuilders Live. Our guest today, a young director and a guy that's actually making waves in the world of movies and helping to get good family-friendly movies out there with good values. Chad Burns is with us. Chad, thanks for coming on, bro.
Rick, thank you very much for having me. I'm really excited to be here, and we are so excited about our new feature film, Beyond the Mask. It's a family-friendly action-adventure movie. If you like Courageous, if you like Fireproof, if you like God's Not Dead, we're carrying forward the mantle of great, solid, gospel-centered movie, gospel-centered storytelling into the action-adventure space. It's a new genre. It's a relatively untouched genre in the sort of Christian marketplace. We're really excited to be doing that. We're excited to have a chance to interact with your listeners.
Well, you guys made a huge splash at NRB a couple of weeks ago. Everybody's talking about the movie. There really seems to be some great momentum for getting a big splash when it comes out in theaters, but, you know, also just the fact that you are opening up a new genre here for Christian movies.
Yeah, you know, Rick, everybody, almost everybody loves an action-adventure story. And so it's really exciting. We're really excited to be able to push into this space. It typically, a lot of the content that's come out of the Christian film efforts over the last 10 years has skewed a little bit older and it's skewed a little bit female. And so this is an opportunity for us to create content that really is aimed at a younger demographic. It's aimed at a younger, slightly more male demographic, and that's really exciting.
What can you tell us, what are we allowed to talk about in terms of the story itself prior to the launch, April 6th?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it is. This is a story about an assassin for the British East India Company. It's set in the mid-1700s. It's the run-up. It's the months and then eventually the days leading up to the American Declaration for Independence from Britain. So it's mid-1700s. It's a story of redemption. And this guy, he's got a bad past, and he's trying to make good. He's trying to clean himself up. And we interact with a bunch of while the lead character is fictitious, we interact with a bunch of real history. And whenever we touch real history or we encounter a real historical figure, we were very careful to get that right. So the story of Beyond the Mask, the way we tell it, it could have happened, and it kind of sits right behind the real history as we know it. So that's Beyond the Mask in a nutshell.
How hard was it for you guys to capture this action sort of genre versus what most Christian movies have been doing? I mean, isn't that more expensive to do the things you're doing? It's harder. It's kind of a new. I mean, did you have trouble getting folks, good actors and actresses? Actually, you have some big names in the movie as well. But I mean, how different was this?
Yeah, well, Rick, that's a great question. So here's there are two major ways that there's a difference in shooting a modern piece. First of all, it's not modern, so you can't go to JCPenney's and pick up clothes for your actors. Just can't do that. So everything has to be custom tailored. The costumes are hand sewn. We just had a screening recently. Somebody came and said, "Hey, I can't believe it that I'm a sewing fan person who really looks at that. And I noticed your costumes are actually hand sewn." I was like, "Yes, they were." We had a huge team of volunteers that came out and worked with us on that. So anyway, everything from the costumes to the carriages to the buildings, it all has to be it all has to either be found something that was built to look old or reconstructed. And because it's an action piece, we blow a lot of stuff up, and we found the folks at Williamsburg weren't terribly interested in us blowing up half of their stuff there. So we had to build a lot on our own, and that's fun. It creates a lot of opportunity to engage people in the project. Volunteers from all over the country came to help us build sets, sew costumes. But it does add a lot of complexity and a lot of time to the process. So there. No, well,
you guys also did sort of a you took a twist on even the weaponry. The parts I've been able to get a glimpse of, it was really cool how you took. And you kind of made the old technology really cool to, where you were using things from today. How did that come about?
We wanted to find, we took a look at stuff that actually existed in the time period, and then we kind of recombined it in some certain ways. So let me give you two quick examples. First of all, we have there's a sniper rifle in the movie, and the scope on the sniper rifle is modeled off of some of Galileo's original spyglasses, and so that was just one little example. And
you even have the spotter there for the sniper.
That's right.
And he's reading with these old kind of tools. Is really cool.
Yes, that's exactly right. And then another thing that's really cool. Everybody knows Ben Franklin did the experiments with the kite and the string and the lightning. What some people don't know is Ben Franklin was also involved in the field of static electric energy. He built a static electric generator. And he actually coined the term battery. He was the guy who coined that term, and it referred to putting together several of these charge jars. And so we tapped into some of that technology, and there's sort of a dark version of Ben Franklin, who this bad, evil doctor who works for the villain in the story, and they kind of steal some of Franklin's technology and have a nefarious end in mind, and our hero has to ultimately work to try and save history as we know it.
Got to take a very quick break. Chad Burns is our guest. Chad, as we go to break, tell us how folks can get tickets. It's a little bit different on the release. It's going to be April 6th, but you need to get your tickets online now, correct?
Rick, that is exactly right. So if this sounds like the kind of movie you want to see, it's not good enough to circle the date on your calendar. You need to go buy a ticket right now. It's at beyondthemaskmovie.com/tickets. Again, that's beyondthemaskmovie.com/tickets. And you need to get those tickets right now because This is a one-night event, and if you don't buy your tickets, you're going to miss it. It's also, the tickets will not be available for walk-up purchase. They have to be purchased online. They have to be purchased in advance.
All right, so this is a little bit different how you got to do it, folks. But listen, our audience, they're people of action. They love supporting things that are helping to restore the good values in our country. Here's a great way to help, folks. It's a great movie, great opportunity to support them, and you're going to just absolutely have a blast. So do circle the date. It's a great family night out at the movie theater. Get to see a good action movie in the theater, but you need to go online immediately, beyondthemaskmovie.com/tickets. You just punch in your zip code there, and it'll tell you where it's playing close to you. How many theaters you guys shooting for, Chad?
We have over 650 theaters selling tickets right now, and we have another 400 that have been requested by local theater captains.
That is a big deal, man. That's a lot of theaters for an independent.
Huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. So it's on track to be the largest theatrical on-demand release in history.
That's awesome.
And it's pretty exciting.
Quick break. Chad Burns, our guest. Be sure and visit the website, beyondthemaskmovie.com. Back in a moment right here on WallBuilders Live.
This is David Barton with another moment from America's history. At the time of the American Revolution, numerous other nations also had revolutions, yet 200 years later, America is the only of those nations still under its original form of government. Is this just good luck? Not according to founding father Benjamin Rush. He declared, "I do not believe that the Constitution was the offspring of inspiration, but I am as perfectly satisfied that it is as much the work of a divine providence as any of the miracles recorded in the Old and New Testament." George Washington agreed. In fact, he declared, "I should be pained to believe that the United States have forgotten that divine interposition which was so often manifested during our Revolution, or that they fail to consider the omnipotence of that God who is alone able to protect them. Our founders acknowledged that our national success had come from God."
For more information on God's hand in American history, contact WallBuilders at 1-800-8-REBUILD.
Let the torch of freedom burn.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us here on WallBuilders Live. Our guest today is Chad Burns. We're talking about a new movie coming out, Beyond the Mask. Chad, glad to have you on. And by the way, want to talk about this movie, first of all, to support good movies like this, good movie makers like you guys, but also just to encourage our listeners to know there's more and more of this good entertainment coming out. I don't know if you were struck the same way I was at NRB, but, man, that convention was just full of movie makers, television makers, all kinds of media outlets that are, taking good values and putting them in a good, entertaining way so that we can take back this field of entertainment.
Yeah, Rick, there's no question that entertainment is a huge business, and there's no question that entertainment has a huge cultural impact. And filmmaking, feature films, are kind of defining the pinnacle of that of the entertainment business even today. And so the opportunity to speak into that conversation is really exciting. And when people go to a movie, their guard is down. It's not like when they walk into a lecture hall to hear a professor, or they walk into a church to hear a pastor. When you go to a movie, the lights go down. You're there to be entertained. You let your guard down. You want to be emotionally moved. It's a unique opportunity to speak the truth to an audience. And every movie has an agenda. Every movie has a worldview. And ours is uniquely Christian. And so we're really excited to be able to share that with people.
Chad, you're spot on, man. I've noticed when you do that, when you sit down in that movie theater, those lights go down, the music, the drama, the way you are moved emotionally, virtually every time you get up from that chair with some new value, or at least some twist on a value that you had or didn't have before. Obviously, Hollywood, most of the time, it's the wrong values, and it's changing the values we've been taught on Sunday morning. You guys are trying to change that. What would you say is the main value you hope people either learn from watching the movie, or is tweaked a little bit, whether it's courage or trust or honesty? What do you think people will get out of this?
Beyond what we really want to do, Rick, Aaron and I, my partner Aaron and I, Aaron was the producer on Beyond the Mask. We want to point people, and especially young people, to meaningful relationship with Jesus Christ. That's our desire, and that's our prayer. And if folks in your audience want to pray for something for Beyond the Mask, we ask you to pray that it would have a spiritual impact on those who see it. And the theme of the story is a story looking at how we find redemption. And I think, Rick, it's a personal story for us. for Aaron and I. Neither of us were, assassins for the East India Company, but everybody has areas in their life where they come short, where they know they don't measure up, and things that they'd love to fix.
Yeah.
And all of us are trying to figure out what it is that makes us significant, why people should respect us, why we should respect ourselves, why what we have to say is important and valuable. And there's this question of identity, and then of trying to fix that identity if it's broken or messed up. And so in the story of Beyond the Mask, we're really pointing people to two ideas. One, you can't lie your way into a new identity. And most people kind of get that. That's not a real hard sell. The second one, though, is a lot more interesting, and we're saying you can't work your way. You can never do enough to earn your own redemption. And it's only through the finished work of Christ that we can find the identity that's truly going to make us feel whole inside. And it's only when we rest in that we're empowered to truly carry out the mission that God has for us. And so that's the final twist in the story, to say even when you do your best and you try hard, you cannot save yourself.
Mm. Did you guys actually write the story as well? I can't remember if this was.
Yeah, that's a great question, Rick. We were privileged to work with some absolutely outstanding creatives. So Paul McCusker from Focus on the Family drafted the screenplay. Stephen Kendrick of Fireproof and Courageous fame was a co-writer and helped us really just fine-tune some of the spiritual themes. You asked earlier about the talent in the movie. John Rice Davies from Lord of the Rings and Indiana Jones plays the villain. And we have a number of other folks.
That's incredible. How did you guys land this great cast you got?
The Lord really brought that together, Rick. And we worked with a great casting director out of L.A., a gal by the name of Bev Holloway, who is a professional, and she really helped us. She helped us find the talent that really made this story come alive.
Awesome. Well, man, we're very, very excited for you. I want to remind folks again of the date. It's April 6th, but do not wait until April 6th. Chad, best place to go is the website, right? BeyondTheMaskMovie.com. And you've got the trailer there. People can watch the trailer.
Yeah.
They can find out what theaters it's in. All that's right there on your website.
That's exactly right. And I encourage folks to go and take a look at the website. If you click on the videos tab, we have some endorsements by a guy named Dr. Del Tackett, who did the Truth Project for Focus on the Family. There's Stephen Kendrick. Again, the Fireproof and Courageous co-writer and producer. We have some stuff from Mike Farris of HSLDA. Anyway, there's a number of big names of folks that have seen the movie and really loved it. And you see what they have to say about it on our website or on Facebook at Beyond the Mask Movie on Facebook. And again, you've got to get your tickets. You can only get them online. That's beyondthemaskmovie.com/tickets.
All right, for more information, check out the website, beyondthemaskmovie.com. We'll make it real easy today. It'll be right there on our homepage at wallbuilderslive.com. Just click on that link for more information. You can get over there and find out how to be a part of that. Don't forget, you cannot walk up and buy tickets on April 6th. You need to hit the website to do that, and the sooner you do that, the better for the movie itself. It'll mean more movie theaters and a bigger release for the movie across the country. Chad, you guys keep up the great work. Looking forward to this one and your next project as soon as you're ready for that one as well. We're so excited about what you guys are doing in the movie industry.
Rick, we appreciate what you're doing on radio and over the internet with broadcasting, and you keep up the good work, too, and thank you for the opportunity to share this with your listeners.
All right, buddy, we'll have you back again soon.
Okay, thank you.
Stay with us here on WallBuilders Live. Have you noticed the vacuum of leadership in America? We're looking around for leaders of principle to step up, and too often, no one is there. God is raising up a generation of young leaders with a passion for impacting the world around them. They're crying out for the mentorship and leadership training they need. Patriot Academy was created to meet that need. Patriot Academy graduates now serve in state capitals around America, in the halls of Congress, in business, in the film industry, in the pulpit, and every area of the culture. They're leading effectively and impacting the world around them. Patriot Academy is now expanding across the nation, and now's your chance to experience this life-changing week that trains champions to change the world. Visit patriotacademy.com for dates and locations. Our core program is still for young leaders 16 to 25 years old, but we also now have a citizen track for adults. So visit the website today to learn more. Help us fill the void of leadership in America. Join us in training champions to change the world at patriotacademy.com.
Let the torch of freedom
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us here on WallBuilders Live. Back here with Tim Barton now. And, Tim, exciting to see these movies coming out, these young guys. These are families. It's kind of like, we're going to have Alveda King on later this week. Families making a difference. This Burns family, amazing. Chad and his cousin Aaron. They've got a brother, I can't remember if it's Chad's brother. Aaron's brother, Peter Burns, has been to Patriot Academy, one of our best leaders at Patriot Academy. So I think what we're seeing in these movies being made, in the political thing you and I get to see at Patriot Academy, it's the fruit of these families that made decisions 10, 15, 20 years ago that we're going to instill the right principles in our kids, and we're going to encourage them and challenge them to go be world changers. And now we're starting to see the fruit of that.
Well, and you're absolutely right. And the fruit we're seeing is in the next generation, which is so encouraging. With two young men, cousins, that are doing this movie. And I was recently speaking somewhere, and I was in a panel of speakers, and I spoke, and I had people come up and just, oh man, we loved it. And one of the other guys who was there with me said, the reason they liked you the best, right? And I said, no, sir. And he says, because you don't have any gray hair. And I went, oh, okay, well, thank you. But I thought, the reality is true, that one of the things that is so encouraging about all the progress, all the positive fruit we are seeing is it's not from gray hairs. It is from young people who are going, you know what, I want to take the giftings God's given me. I want to do something. I want to make a difference. And now you've got two cousins, young people, one of their cousins at Patriot Academy being trained and learning so much about politics and government. It's just so fun to see young people that are really growing and stepping into what God's called them to be.
And having a great impact. I mean, these movies are going to influence the culture in a great way. Expecting great success for this movie. For more information, be sure and visit their website. And don't forget that it's a timely situation. You need to get those tickets now if you want to go on April 6th. We encourage you to check it out there at their website. And we'll have a link today at wallbuilderslive.com. Thanks so much for listening today to WallBuilders Live.
We stand undivided.